tumeamua kama baraza la usalama katika taifa la Kenya kwamba wale wote watakaoajiriwa kwa jeshi la Kenya, kwa polisi wa Kenya, Kenya Forest Service, Kenya Wildlife Service, asilimia 80, 80% watakuwa hawa vijana ambao wamefuzu kutoka National Youth Service. Vile vile tumekubaliana ya kwamba National Youth Service katika ile harakati ya kupanga vijana watakaoenda kufanya kazi katika nchi ya nje. Already we are concluding negotiations with Germany. We are concluding negotiations with Saudi Arabia. We are concluding negotiations with another 8 countries on export of labor. And the National Youth Service is going to be the central organization for pre-deployment training so that Kenyans understand what they need to do when they go out for work as labor that is exported from Kenya. I have approved the modernization and the re-engineering of National Youth Service so that in February next year, we will have an additional 200 cadets that will be trained to enhance the capacity of National Youth Service, to train more servicemen and women as we use NYS to grow the pool of young people that are job ready, that are ready to take up responsibilities in different sectors. Additionally, another 500 servicemen will be trained to join staff of the National Youth Service, again in the effort to ensure that National Youth Service has the men, has the women to assist NYS train more young people. When I was here last year, I did commit that we were going to include the National Youth Service in the review of salaries and working conditions of both the police, the prisons, and I committed that we are going to include the NYS, and we did. Let me confirm that as the report was presented to me and to government, National Youth Service, beginning the next financial year for 3 years, their salaries will be increased by 40% going into the future. Recognizing the place of youth in national transformation in general, and that of NYS in powering the plan in particular, we have embarked on a strategic re-engineering of the National Youth Service to enhance the capacity of the institution to take up greater numbers of trainees, position it on the path of financial sustainability through revenue generation, thereby creating the conditions to support the expansion of enrollment to 100,000 young people annually in the next 5 years. Let me repeat that this year, we are graduating 10,000 young people from this field. Next year, in the first cohort, it will be 15,000. In the next cohort, it will be 15,000. So next year alone, 30,000 young people from across Kenya will graduate from NYS as we position NYS as the incubator for all other arms of government. If we carry on with business as usual and neglect the imperative of taking extraordinary measures to transform our economies in order to give millions of young people a better chance to build stronger nations, we will definitely have a serious crisis in our hands. It is clearly evident that for a few decades now, Kenya has been firmly and emphatically committed in investing significantly in a future that will exploit the demographic dividend to drive national development agenda. This is for a while now primary education has been free of charge, with huge subsidies in secondary education and even university education under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. The bottom-up economic transformation agenda will not implement itself. On the contrary, our best chance of actualizing the Kenya we want in social, economic, political, and even cultural terms is by wasting no opportunity in equipping our young people with the skills and capabilities that are not only competitive and relevant in the current global market, but also firmly aligned with the imperatives of the radical transformation of our economy. And I am glad to be here as we celebrate the achievements of our youth in their preparation to serve their nation and mark another important milestone for the National Youth Service community who have made this event possible. An event like this is particularly important because its role in reminding us of the substantial reasons we have as a people of Kenya to be hopeful about the future despite the challenges we face. Old and familiar threats of war, conflict, insecurity, underdevelopment, famine, disease, and crime have been joined and intensified by terrorism, transnational organized crime, pandemics, and climate change. Consequently, states around the world are combating these threats to a great extent, with an increasing number struggling at enormous cost on livelihoods and economic development. Under these conditions, high rates of population growth have not only increased the number of citizens overall, many national populations of developing countries grow younger by the decade. Our continent now has the world's youngest population with a median age of 19, and 25 countries with the youngest median age are in Africa. What this means is that the youth are no longer just an indispensable component of society. They define the basic character of our nations and determine the direction and speed of our journey into the future.